Yo, this is two friends, Matt and Eli, and you're listening to the Monday Mashup on WVCW.
The Mashup remakes progressive house legends themselves, the two friends.
How's
Matt
it
and
going,
Eli.
dude?
What's up, dude?
How's it going? Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely, guys, man, it's an honor and a privilege. Last night was a ton of fun opening for you guys. Sold out show, can't complain. Everything was
Super dope.
Oh my god, I got to dress up like a green Power Ranger. Like that was
Looked super sexy in that Power Ranger. You killed it.
I don't know. The girlfriend was dressed up as the pink Power Ranger. I think she pulled that off a little bit better than me. But man, it was a phenomenal show. Great working with you guys last night. But you guys, I know you guys get asked this a lot. How did you guys link up in music and get rocking and rolling on all of this?
So we started, basically it was our senior year of high school. We were already everyone already knew where they were going to college, blah, 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 blah. And we're just like, you know what, instead of just doing absolutely nothing and not concentrating on school, let's just do something. So we're like, why don't we just start producing music? And we're like, we didn't even know what that meant at that time, really. We're just kind of like, let's be DJs, so we had the name Two Friends before we even had a DAW, so we just kind of jumped into it. And then we moved off to college, separated, but throughout freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, we kind of learned what we were doing and kind of gained more and more traction until we actually knew how to produce. And by that time, we were midway through college. We're like, wow, maybe we could do this. This is sick. This is really fun. We like making music. So yeah, we graduated last year. Been doing it full time for a year and change now. It's been pretty insane, pretty fun so far.
Now, your music, both underground and poppy, and it's all over. It really hits the entire spectrum, and that's why what a lot of people are drawn to your music, especially the big booty mixes that you guys do. Which, let me tell you, that is gold right there.
Thank you.
So you're all over the spectrum, and one of the things I noticed is, perfect example is your remix of "I Miss You" or remixes of "I Miss You" by Blink-182, which are my favorite group in the entire world. And a song I got to play out all over the summer. What has been the inspiration to you guys behind creating, stuff like that, and the acapellas and the stems that you reach for in production?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go about it, especially when we're remixing songs. I mean, there's some where, the opportunity is right. It's a cool official remix to do, and, we're happy to jump on board for that. For the Blink-182 one specifically, that was one where we were thinking, let's pick a song that everyone, not only do they know it and they could sing along, and if it comes on at a at a party or at a club, whatever, they'll be they'll sing along and have a good time with it. But also that song is just so nostalgic. It's not just that you know the words, but it's damn, I know these words or remind me. Yeah, it's this takes me back to middle school when I had a crush on that girl, and I haven't heard this in 10 years, but now I have this cool remix of it. So that one was especially fun, and those throwback ones are really awesome. We're actually wrapping up another one of those throwback ones of Mr. Brightside by the Killers. Kind of a different style, but same type of vibe of putting our new fresh spin on something that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's one of the things for me that I really love is because you can connect to it to an earlier point in life, so to speak. And I don't want to say a happier time, but a simpler time. But it's got that energy of something new and beautiful, but you're singing along, and it's amazing. And one of the festivals I did, I played it out on main stage, and every single festival I played over the summer, I played that song out. I mean, I can't say better things about it. Everyone that talked to me after I got off stage mentioned that one song. Of anything I played, that was the one thing. They were like, yo, that Blink-182 remix, not really my style, but yo, every single time.
I love to hear it.
And I was hearing it from drum and bass guys to deep house guys, and everyone was like, yo, that was cool, that was good. And that was the one song that everyone kept mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a big, that one, and certain ones where people know the words or it connects with them, reminds them of something, has definitely been a fun one for people's sets, our sets, getting Snapchats from fans at other DJ shows, that's always sick. And I'm just yo, where is this? And it's oh, this is at EDC or whatever. And it's oh, dope, And that's kind of when we're trying to, like, if we're starting a remix, it's usually you want to do a song that's gonna, like, make an impact, something that you'd want to listen to, and obviously it has to sound great, but also, like, if you can get that next level of connection in some form, like maybe it's connected to, like, some memory, Blink-182, we all grew up on them, totally. That is just like a bonus.
Now, have you gotten to talk to any of the guys from Blink-182 about it? Like, have they like caught wind of it by any chance?
There's definitely a possibility they have. We'll see. Our managers actually manage them. We're like the management agency.
With Dextark, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we did try to, like, once it was picking up steam, we did, like, try to see if, like, we could get it, like, official or, like, do something with them about it.
Jacob, poke.
Yeah,
poke.
for real. And unfortunately, like, they were, like, dealing with their whole, like, split up kind of thing. So they're like, yeah, all the old stuff is frozen. Like, we can't touch anything. We're like, okay, whatever. But
although they do have that new song, Bored to Death.
They do. I'm a fan of that song.
And
Steve
it's a great song. Steve Aoki's remix.
And they're still, no matter what, they're still, like, at the way top of our list for dream collaborators. Or even if we can't even make a song with them, if we could, like, bring them out to one of our shows and have them sing along when we play our remix of I Miss You, like, that would just be, I don't know,
oh man. Or you could
be
do
the
like a
ever.
Travis Barker DJ AM kind of thing.
that was the same.
Yeah.
I
mean,
at
dude,
Coachella,
that's what inspired me to want to
Totally.
be a DJ. I saw that and I was like, I saw AM
for
and
real.
I was like, I want to do
for real.
that.
I think we saw them at, like, Coachella in 2007. I don't know, around there, maybe 8. And that was, like, the coolest show I've ever seen in my
Now,
life.
speaking of Coachella, you guys are from LA, correct?
Right.
So for you guys going to Coachella, you'll be like, all right, well, we're gonna go to Coachella for the day. All right, I'm gonna go sleep at mom's house afterwards. For you, being in LA and being surrounded by everything in the music industry and film, things like Coachella, has that made, what kind of difference did that make in your music career?
Yeah, I mean, Coachella specifically was just, like, that was pretty life-changing, not gonna lie. Like, it's everyone from our high school, our whole group of friends goes. We went pretty much every year, starting when we were, like, 13 or 14 years old. And, like, I honestly I think I had been to, like, one actual concert, and then then all of a sudden I'm at a festival where I can see 50 bands in 3 days, or 50 artists, DJs, whatever. And so, like, that really was eye-opening. And the Sahara tent, which is, like, the dance tent there, that was just, like, without the experiences that the two of us have had watching DJs perform in the Sahara tent, I can't confidently say that we would be on the same track that we are, because we knew nothing about electronic music pretty much until Sahara tent, and we just got it. We were lucky enough to see so many just amazing shows there. But yeah, LA in general is awesome. I mean, we're lucky enough that we grew up there, and then we went off for college, and now we're back home. But, like, I have a feeling even if we didn't grow up there, we'd probably move out. Just so we see all our peers and other producers from all parts of the country are all making the pilgrimage to LA. So we're lucky that we're just, like, posted up there anyway. But yeah, I mean, for up and coming producers, and not only just dance music, but any genre of music, LA is just an incredible place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to make the pilgrimage out there. I've never been to LA, which is
Never.
I know,
my
in this
God.
line of work and all the things
That's
like I'm
amazing.
doing, I've never been to
Well,
LA.
it's gonna make the first time
maybe
even better.
Maybe we should do a show as the Three Friends.
Yes,
hey,
definitely.
Hey, actually,
I love it.
That'd be fun. Okay, so now with DJing, what got you in? Production is one thing. What got you into DJing?
I think DJing kind of came, and Eli, feel free to correct me, but I think it kind of came more as, like, yo, like, we got an email from, like, when we were, like, maybe sophomores in college, like, when we just are kind of starting it, we're like, yo, we got an email from this, like, booking agent or, like, fraternity or whatever, saying, like, they want us to come. I don't know how to DJ. Like, they like our music, but, like, what do we do? So we're like, oh, you know what? I guess we need to, like, learn how to DJ, And then from there, you more and more shows you're playing, you're like, okay, like, this is fun. Let's, like, actually get good at this and know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think also, like, when we first started producing, we didn't really have a vision of what we wanted to do, what our goals were. We were messing around with some hip hop, messing around with some dance music, but we weren't quite sure. But then like I said, like, Sahara 10 is part of it, but just going to any of those, like, going to any electronic dance music show and you just see the culture there and you see how fun it looks to be up on stage. I think that was kind of a moment when, if we did have any doubts about like what style we wanted to pursue, we're like, yo, like we got to be that guy up there. Like that looks so sick. And like, for instance, I saw Porter Robinson one time.
Oh my God, I love
and
him.
you know, he's
And this was like even all before the Worlds and all rebranding stuff.
I'll tell you guys a Porter Robinson story after this.
yeah. So this was like, I think this was freshman year of college. I was 18 and he was probably 18 or 19. So it wasn't just like, wow, like this guy is, you know, so far off and I will never, you know,
He's not a
like,
Carl Cox. He's
right. He's
a
like, hey,
peer.
this guy is like 18. Like, obviously he's been, you know, working his ass off, but like, why can't we do that? We don't, you know, you don't need, there's not some like, you know, you could just be a normal guy in college, mess around with it, you know, work hard at it, and then things go well, and then you're that guy. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of just happened pretty naturally, and then, you know, then you start DJing more and more, and it gets more and more fun, and you find more and more music, and you know, yeah, it's just a pretty natural path, I guess, but it's been pretty awesome.
Now, one of the other things that you had mentioned is, you know, within college and performance and everything like that is we're gonna take a selfie real quick. We're keep going. Okay, all right, never mind. Oh man. Now we were talking about college and DJing. Look at, you know, similar artists that, you know, are peers. The Caps Lap, Blau, Gazo, similar artists that are now playing, you know, Ultra. You know, Blau played Ultra for the past 2-3 years. He's no different, you know, Justin's no different than you guys, you know?
I mean, I vividly remember like so he went to Vanderbilt in Nashville and I wasn't there. So I vividly remember like waking up to like a flurry of texts. Eli was probably drunk, but it was just like, oh, he's nodding yes.
Definitely drunk.
But it was just like, dude, we need to do this. We need to work really, really hard, but like, this is so inspiring. Like this kid is just so good and like pretty much our age and like doing what he wants to do. Like, come on, let's work really hard.
And now a cool part of it, I mean, not that we're even close to Porter Robinson's level at all, but like it's cool to see it come, you know, sort of full circle where now, you know, a lot of places that we play, the kids talk to us and they're students and they're saying that they're, you know, they just bought Ableton or they just got their first program and they're, you know, they're starting to dabble in it and they're having a lot of fun. And like, that's so awesome for us to hear. And we love to hear that because, you know, we were in that exact position and we kind of just tell them, you know, like, number one, it has to be fun because if it stops being fun and feels just like a chore or like work, like it's not going to last. You know, maybe you keep going for a couple more months, but like you got to love it. And if these kids do say they love it, you know, there's nothing more than we like to see where they tell us that they're inspired by us being college students and, you know, continuing to go with it. But yeah, I mean, the barriers to entry more so than most genres of music, I would say, are so low that, you know, if you just have the passion and you spend a couple $100, maybe you could even find a free program. But like, if you just put in hours and you stay committed and you have a good vision, like you can make it happen. Nothing is stopping you. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, a lot of it is really just how much work are you willing to put in. You know, when everyone gets into this, everyone sees, you know, the main stage at Ultra, and they see the girls and they see the champagne and money, but they don't realize, you know, for a few years they're going to be playing to no one in an empty room with just a bartender there and putting in 12 to 18 hours a day. No one sees that part. No one knows that part. But if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to put in a couple of years of your life, like no one else will, spending no money, just focusing on looking at your laptop.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, Porter Robinson did it from 11 to 17.
It's insane. Totally. I mean,
and look where he's at now.
It's all about, like, kind of what Eli was saying is, like, in college, especially, like, and a lot of people, like, are doing it with a full-time job, like, you know, you got to just spend every second you can. So in college, like, I kind of made my friends freshman year as fast as I could, and then I would just be like a hermit, you know, in my room producing. And then, I mean, my friends luckily were like super cool about it, but like on a Friday night, they're like, yo, dude, are you coming out? And I'm like, I really need to finish this, or I really want to do this. And they're like, come on, dude, you're so lame, blah, blah, blah. Like, so they didn't really understand, like, you know, you got to put in the hours for any results or to get better.
And to be honest, that kind of stuff kind of still happens where, like, you know, granted, Matt and I don't really have a typical day job. We kind of we like to get in a good routine, so we sort of do have a certain time we like to start and go until. But we still have friends that don't really understand that like we are actually working. They think it's all just like you go
It's fun and games.
right. So like, obviously if someone is visiting and wants to grab lunch, we're lucky enough where we have a flexible enough, we could take an hour and go get lunch. But like when it happens every day, like, dude, come on, like you're not doing anything. Come to the beach with me today.
You don't have
and
to
like,
go to the office. Like,
right.
actually,
like, obviously
I'm
we don't want to, drown ourselves. Like that's good to do every now and then. But if you have that attitude every single day and you're like, well, I'll produce for a couple hours, then go to the beach, then go hang out with some friends. Like I'll get it done late. If you do that every day, you're not going to get anything done. So as much as it is, that we kind of set our own routine and our own pace, like we do try as much as we can to get in that routine and take it seriously and, be as productive as we can every day.
Yeah, I mean, like weekends, like when we have shows and stuff, and our weekdays are like the funniest contrast. The biggest dichotomy. We're like in the studio, like on a Wednesday, and then at night we'll just like eat dinner, and I'll just like be by myself, like watch Netflix, go to sleep, do it all over, But then obviously on weekends, like. You're waking up at 6 a.m. sometime.
You got to catch a flight. You got to be here for sound check. You got to check into a hotel.
Going straight from the nightclub to the airport, whatever.
Eat dinner somewhere along the way and on
somewhere,
the road.
Yeah.
Haven't showered in 2 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely I think it's good to have those routines and any like steadiness that comes with it.
It also gives you some normalcy.
Exactly.
To your life,
exactly. Or else
because
you're
otherwise
like,
it's just stuff, randomness, and all the time, and
Right.
it's chaos, and you need that structure to be able to focus.
Some producers
I got
do
the
that.
whiteboard right
Yeah.
there. Without that whiteboard, I'd be dead.
Oh yeah,
You can't
need
keep
it.
everything on.
We have
going on
like
up here.
master to-do lists of just like hundreds of things,
Dude,
but like,
the lists, it never ends.
but if you don't have it, how the
You guys
hell do you
color code
remember
things
everything?
too?
Here you
Yeah. Tell
So
me.
this kind of relates to big booty mixes, which I know you mentioned. So color coding for that, yeah. So we've actually morphed our organization a little bit, but it started out. I was mentioning this to you before we went on the air, but so what we would do for those, if you don't know what those are, it's like a continuous hour-long mashup mix. So it'll be an hour long and it'll feature
Everything.
Yeah, we try to put all sorts of genres, different decades of music, things that people can sing along to, and so we we mash up. I think we just did volume 10 of it, and I think it was 145 songs in an hour, like mashed together. But so obviously, when it's that many songs, you got to stay organized. So what we do is each sample that we use, we color code based on the key. So either let's say it's in A major, which the relative minor of that is F sharp minor. So those are pretty compatible. So if it's in either one of those, let's say we color it, one color, and then the B flat major and G minor is another thing. And so you kind of just go by those folders and you say, oh, here's an acapella in that folder. And here's an instrumental in that folder. Let me try and quickly see if they work on top of each other. If they do, great. Write it down. If not, try something else in the folder. So color coding there definitely came in handy. But yeah, in terms of other organization, like Matt said, we just have a list of the list has never been at zero. There's it goes.
It just keep
right.
Keep
Yeah,
adding
you keep
stuff
it.
to it.
So you
and
knock
then there are
off.
certain things
You feel
like,
great.
It's not gonna
you
happen.
feel great because you had a great day and you knocked off 10 important things. But you also, then you check your email and you're like, oh, now I have to add 12 more things. So you actually didn't really.
Then while you're going throughout
Right.
your day, you add all of these
Exactly.
other things you need to get done. Yeah.
But that's the great thing about having two of us. Some of these guys that are doing it solo, like props to them because it is hard to, even with two of us, we feel overwhelmed a lot and wish we had a third guy, a third one of us to, so, I mean, it's just, there's, as much as you want to spend 100% of your time on music and being creative and producing and all that, you just can't, there's the business, there's the logistics, there's the, you want to be smart with your promotion strategies. So all of that, there's a lot that goes into this. And that kind of goes back to when our friends think we're just kind of like messing around in the basement all day. Like we're working,
That was for me actually one of the hardest things explaining to like a lot of my friends, because in college a lot of my friends are like working for Goldman Sachs or AIG or one of these big banks or something. And they're like, so what are you doing? Well, I'm kind of working on this remix. I got a couple of shows this week. And they're like, all right, that's cool. I'm like, yo, it's Tuesday. Like, you want to come over and like have a beer with like lunch? They're like, dude, I'm at the office. And then Sunday will roll around and be like, hey, we got this rooftop party. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I've got work in the morning. Like, all right, and it's
very different lifestyle.
It's a completely different lifestyle, and for guys, you guys and myself, our work week is Thursday through Sunday. The weekend is Monday, Tuesday, really, but the weekend you're still working to crank out tracks to keep Thursday through Sunday still being a thing, and it's a completely different world. And it's difficult at times, but if you treat it like a job, though, it's magic.
Totally,
happens.
and as basically every victory that you can show, like, if your friends see something cool, that like a cool video of a show that you did, they're like, they start to get it more and more. Like in college, when like we got our Lana Del Rey remix, it started getting played a ton on SiriusXM BPM, and like they would be driving and like see it, and they're like, wow, that's sick. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, it's huge.
Remember when you were yelling at me about not going to that party?
Exactly.
Guess what I was working on.
Exactly. Yeah. So like over time, like people get it. And I think even now more than 5 years ago, like people get that a lot of people have like touched, Ableton or Logic or Pro Tools, whatever. And they kind of get that like the complexity to go into it. Like it's basically a science. Like it's your own, it's a language pretty much. So, they realize you have to put a lot of time into it. But like 5 years ago and more, like even me, it's not tangible. You don't even get what it is. Like, it's like, oh, I tell the computer to do this, I click that button, and like
things happen.
Exactly. Yeah. But then, you put them behind the computer and they're like, okay, I get it. Like this is hard. I don't know.
I had an argument with a friend one time, and he's I don't want to say self-righteous in his real job, as he likes to say. And I was like, all right, if you understand this and, you think what I do is easy, here's a stack of records and 2 turntables, go. About 4 minutes later, he's like, yeah, never mind. You were right.
Exactly.
And it's the exact same thing. Now, with you guys and production in the studio, do you guys have any like studio gear that like you like? Any certain sound cards or MIDI controllers? Or...
So I'll kind of go through our rundown first.
Yes, please.
And there's pre and post renovation. So basically, we started producing like 5 and maybe almost a half years ago now. Maybe, right? That's a long time, damn. But at that point, it was like literally just a laptop and headphones. Then maybe like 2 years after that, we got Rocket 5s right here.
Yeah.
And super solid. We had those in like an old Apogee Duet, like used, and it worked totally fine, and it's been great. I mean, in college, it was really hard to use monitors anyway, just because of noise complaints in dorms and fraternities, blah, 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 So then until literally like 2 months ago, we were on that setup, like used everything. And then finally, we redid like our studio, put money into it, got a little hardware for like recording, some dope stuff, and now it's like a new level of, awesome stuff. We have some Atom S2X monitors, which I've been loving so far. New mic, it's called Manly Cardioid Reference. It's like super sick. A UAD interface, so it's like a lot of dope stuff, and probably some people have no clue what I'm talking about, but
we have a lot of producers and a lot of gearheads that listen, so like
and you can't also leave out how many guitars do you have, like 5 or 6 that you use, maybe even more, I don't know, because if you listen to our music, most, not 100%, but most of our songs feature guitar in some capacity, and that's always real guitar that this guy is playing live and we record. So that those instruments are just as important as like, the hardware, complicated compressor stuff,
Now, speaking of the guitar, just curious, have you ever done a show where you pull out the guitar live in the show?
We totally have thought about, we've considered it very like closely. our team, like, we were gonna do it this summer once, but our team didn't want us to. But with that said, I'm not ruling it out. Like, it's definitely something we'd want
So
to
if
do.
I had showed up last night with like an electric guitar, like
It would be something we'd have to like really practice, because it's kind of hard just in the context of a dance show, like just kind of like stopping for a second and like totally resetting the vibe to like, almost like a rock show. But with that said, it's carefully done. It could be super sick. So that's something we want to do.
I mean, look at Pendulum, you know.
And
Or
so,
Knife Party this year. They brought out what's his name from Rage Against the Machine when Knife Party was playing closing out Ultra.
so that's the type of thing. Like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it well. So eventually that will 100% be part of our show, but we just got to figure out the best way to kind of implement it. But with that said, we already have been taking some steps towards like that more of a hybrid live show / DJ set. We just we had a big show in San Francisco a couple weeks ago, and we brought out one of the singers that we have a track with, and she sang live. And we also brought out a saxophonist. The guy is actually, we have a few remixes that have sax on them. This guy actually, he's not like the one that originally recorded them, but he's super talented, so he was able to learn them and play along. And so those were definitely highlights of that show. Bringing out the singer, bringing out this saxophonist. And it's a little hard to do that like every single show, especially if it's at like a nightclub or not as much of like a show. But for all of the cool venue ones that we have coming up, we're definitely planning to incorporate that more, bringing out special guests and things like that. And slowly transitioning to, feature some cool live elements rather than straight up DJ sets every time.
Like last night would have been, awesome to be able to have, guitar or saxophone. But there is no room in that booth last night to be able to do that. So it really depends on, where and what. But if it's, an ultra type show where you've got more stage than you know what to do with, bring the homies out, bring the marching band out,
That's what, Odessa did that. Odessa brought out the USC marching band to Coachella a couple of years ago, which was really sick.
But yeah, like if for something like that, go nuts.
And that also, I think, especially with some of the new stuff that we're really excited about, which is we have three original songs coming out in the next few months, and especially those are kind of they're a little more of the hybrid pop dance vibe rather than straight up 128 128 BPM bangers. So I think that kind of comes as the music changes, the show changes a little bit too. Because our whole philosophy, especially since we graduated, when we were in school, it was a little tougher to like feel like we could take risks and experiment, just because we didn't have very much time to begin with. So we wanted to stay consistent in terms of putting out content, but in order to stay on that schedule, we had to be pretty efficient. So we didn't really always have time to think outside the box. But now we have the luxury of taking a step back, which we still want to do even more so, but taking a step back. And now, what we've been doing recently is like, we don't start by thinking about the tempo or the genre. We just start with a little idea. And then if it sounds good, it sounds good. And let's go from there. And then, you worry about that stuff later. But like, you'll hear with some of the upcoming stuff that it's not quite the same tempo or the same, we might not want to classify it under the same subgenre, but we don't care about that. Like, hopefully you'll still hear that Two Friends vibe to it, and you'll still enjoy it. And, it's all part of came from the same place, just classifying it a little differently. But we don't like to get caught up in that type of stuff.
That dude, you guys, I mean, the more you guys talk about stuff, the more it just blows my mind. I love talking to artists like you guys and what you're doing and mixing in different elements of, whether it be, guitar or, different acapellas or different styles, or you're trying to change the game but do something new and different. It's part A track, it's part girl talk. There's no one, it's not, Martin Garrix sounds like Martin Garrix and only Martin Garrix. Y'all's stuff it's a little of everything, and that's what makes it, like the show last night, that's what made it was all over the place. It was old school tracks to hip hop and any and everything in between.
And kind of what we've seen is like people enjoy diversity of music, so like why not make a little bit of a diversity of music? And hopefully, like, it is important to have your sound or have your vibe, but like hopefully, especially with a lot of the new stuff that's coming, it is a lot more not experimental, but like we still think it's like going to be super cool, not like very like hipster at all in that fashion, but like, you know, it's different than what we have been releasing. And our goal, kind of like what Eli's saying, it does come from, you know, it's still us like making music. So hopefully there is some core that doesn't change. Like this song,
You definitely have your own sound. You know,
Well, thank
you
you.
can hear something and be like, that's like you can if you put on a Big Booty mix and you put on someone else's mix from, you know, some festival or something, you know, a Blau mix.
yeah.
I could definitely tell which one would be yours.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's like, you know, your own. That's like on the DJ side, like totally your own like mixing style, and like kind of it all, everything, whatever you're producing, whatever you're making, whatever you're mixing, it all comes from someone's taste of music, you know, or like your vibe or what you like. So it's like what Eli and I like, and it's just like, I guess some people agree with us,
Yeah,
you know.
it's, you know, it's one of the things, and it's an approach I've taken from Laid Back Luke. If you don't like something, don't play it. Well, no matter what I'm going to play at any show, I'm going to like what I'm playing. So
Right.
if I'm going to like it, and I'm having fun, and I'm up there dancing, enjoying it, they probably will be too. Unless I'm,
Yeah.
we're just not going to
the
connect.
goal has to be, if you had two of yourself and one of them was DJing, the other one would be in the crowd and be the one in the crowd having the most fun.
Yeah, would you
know?
be raging face to your own set? If not, then you shouldn't be playing.
Totally,
that set.
totally.
Like, period.
Yeah.
And go DJs, producers, whatever. Switching gears, though, one of the fan submitted questions is, what is the weirdest thing on your rider?
Weirdest thing on our rider. So we actually were just talking to Steven about this. So this is a new edition, and it's optional. But the weirdest thing on our rider is a handwritten joke. So it could be multiple jokes. It could be one joke. We've gotten an absolute diversity of jokes. We've gotten really funny ones. We've gotten super racist ones that like we're just like, who wrote this? Oh my God, this is awful. We've gotten like jokes from like that sound like they were written by fifth graders. So, you know, we've
Get
definitely.
any dad jokes in there?
Oh, no doubt. Like
Oh, man.
I would say
I love me some good dad
the
jokes.
majority has to be dad jokes. Do you remember any of them?
I'm trying to think. They're definitely, yeah, there's like those anti-joke ones. Like, what it's like, how do I say it? What's big and white and can't climb a tree? A refrigerator? Something like that. But yeah, and then the other thing, not quite as weird, but there have just been some funny memories with this, is so we put 2 towels on the list, and like that,
2 towels on mine.
that honestly, we didn't even think of that. That was just like our management company. That was like part of their standard rider when we first joined them. We're like, yeah, sure, just give us the standard one. But like, it's funny because there are some people that I get, especially if it's like, you know, someone that's sort of new to the promoter world, maybe it's the first time throwing an event, and like, they think that rider is like their Bible, like that
They have to get
that,
every single
so
thing.
like, so like we've had some funny things where like someone was like, and the towel, like, I know you guys request 2 white towels, like, I'm so sorry.
only find
I
blue.
went
I'm
to
so
bed.
sorry.
I went to Bed Bath and Beyond, and like they didn't have the exact towels. So like, I hope it's like one of my friend has an extra towel. I hope that's okay. It's clean, but it's not new. And we're like, yo, like we're probably not going to even use this at all. But like, please don't worry
It's
about
hot
it.
in the
There's
booth,
just
and if one of your idiot friends spills something, we need to get it up. Like,
just like,
that's it.
Oh no, the towels.
So I used to have in mine, an alpaca or a llama. I asked for 1 llama. And so I got a call one
Just
time.
like a live llama?
I just asked for it just said all the stuff, and in the middle of it just said 1 llama.
That's hilarious.
And so we get a call from Randolph-Macon College one time. They're like, yeah, we got your contract. Everything looks good. About the llama, there's an alpaca farm down the road. Like, is that okay? They're like, you know what? We're going to call the farmer right now. We'll call you back. And we're like, what? Oh,
That's the best thing I've ever
so they call us
heard.
back. They're like, yeah, he was totally down until he found out live music was going to be involved. Are we still able to go through with the booking? Like, we're really sorry. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, you're
That's
fine.
amazing.
Before we could say that, like, it was just to like make sure that they were paying attention to the contract, they were already calling, trying to get like an alpaca because that
is
was the
so
closest thing to
funny.
a llama. And they're like, oh god.
Oh my God. We have
I
to add
haven't
something
been
like
booked
that.
at Randolph-Macon since then. I don't know why, but
That is so funny.
yeah. And it's, I mean, I've seen all sorts of stuff.
We should just like, we were joking about, we should just like very, you know, right in the middle, like only a couple, you know, very small font, just like a BMW, something like that. It's like,
see what happens.
yeah,
or
it's like,
they might give you like a toy car, like BMW.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
That'd be creative.
What's the craziest story from being on the road?
So we were at Electric Zoo in New York a couple years ago, and this was kind of, we were gaining some traction, but we were still, kind of babies to the whole thing. But we got artist passes, so that was like huge for us, that we could go to the backstage area and try to mingle with artists or industry people or whatever. We thought we were pretty hot. And so one of the nights, there was some girl that we were hanging out with, and just like randomly we see her eating a piece of celery, and like that was a weird thing to do at like midnight.
We eat celery at a music
Right.
festival.
And she's like,
probably should eat celery at a music festival. Yeah.
and we were pretty drunk, and we were like, oh, can we get some of that? And so she gives us some celery, and we asked her where she got it, and she's like, oh, I just snuck into Adventure Club's trailer, and like I guess Adventure Club asked for celery on their rider, and so we thought it was funny, so we tweeted at Adventure Club like, thanks for the celery, it tastes great, or something stupid like that. And the next thing we know, they DM'd us, and they're like, yo, we're doing the official after party at Webster Hall, you guys want to come play with us? And we're like, oh wow, like no way, like dude, that really, like we
Webster
were
Hall's so legendary.
we weren't even trying to, like, we were just joking, like, thanks for the celery, like we were not trying to network or anything. And so we got to Webster Hall. We were like trying, like the security had no idea who we are. We're like, no, I promise, we're here. Like, and then he, like, I guess he went in to like make sure, and he's like, okay, yeah, you guys are good. And it's like, it ended up kind of being just like a little chaotic, and like there wasn't like set times for each person, so obviously we're not going to like interrupt Adventure Club to be like, hey, is it our turn yet? but so we were on stage and got to hang out with them, and one of them is dating one of the girls from Coachella, so that was cool. We got to meet her too.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's Leighton is dating Jahan or something.
Whatever. Good for him. Both of those girls are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, good for
so
him.
So there were cool people we got to hang out with on the stage. And it all started from a casual celery.
Eli also missed like the best part of the story. Like there's like the whole in between of those.
Oh. Yeah.
So after, I don't even, the celery has nothing to do with this part, but so then we just like this year at EZoo, Dan Blazarian was having like his party. So and this was like, it was like in the VIP
Instagram. Like that
dude,
guy.
That dude. So it was like, it was a party, but like in some weird like VIP AAA section. So like we could see it. So like we went, and this girl was just like guiding, like she's just like was gonna get in no matter what. So we ended up like walking back, like you walk around the festival backstage, and we just like run into him, and he was like with all his friends, I remember, and she was like, yo, we're about to go to your party, can you take a picture? He's like, sure. And like he wasn't even there, he just like left. So we just go in, somehow we like sneak over the fence, and we're like in this like party. There's like maybe 5 guys, probably 150 girls,
and they're all stunning, I bet.
Yeah. No doubt. And we're just like, what the hell are we supposed to be doing right now? So they had these like,
getting as many phone numbers as possible.
For real. They had like this $100, I mean not $100, 100-pound bottle of champagne. Like literally, like it's hard to carry. And we were just, and we had these like little glasses, and we just like, we'd like pour it straight into each other's mouths, and like, we're just taking pictures.
You needed a camera crew there to film that.
So
that would have been a perfect music video.
We do have a funny picture with that champagne bottle.
Yes.
But so one thing leads to another, and Matt gets a little more drunk than I think he had planned. Not that I was sober by any means, but so when this all goes down with the Adventure Club, I don't know how I left this out originally, but so when this all starts to go down, Matt is like on the brink of, is he awake or asleep? Is he aware of what's happening? And so I'm like, yo, Matt, like, dude, Adventure Club just asked us to play with them at Webster Hall, like, wake up. And he's just like,
someone give me some coffee now.
No, he could not even say that phrase.
I was way past that point.
And so we had like an hour to get out of the festival, go back to our apartment to change and shower or whatever, and then make it to Webster Hall. And so in that hour, it was at my brother's apartment, and I just remember like throwing Matt in a cold shower, slapping his face, slapping him, like, dude, like, and like I said, it ended up, we didn't actually play, but it was like, don't blow this because you're like asleep.
The best part of the story is also like at this point, like in that hour, we didn't know how to use CDJs at all. So we're like, we need to go back to the apartment. A, get a USB. B, like look on Google how to use CDJs, and then
At Webster Hall. Like,
Yes, and at one point, your idea was like, dude, let's just get it on a USB. We'll hand it to the guys in Adventure Club and ask them to do it, and we'll just like, don't worry, it'll work out. I'm like, dude, that's not gonna work.
No,
like,
no. Oh my
so
God.
I think that was part of what, like I said, like we didn't want to like interrupt them, but we especially did not want to interrupt them to be like, can you play our set while we stand there? So
I guess the moral of the story is that inspired us to buy and learn CDJs.
Yeah, you know, I can see how that would change
Totally.
the game.
We're like,
real quick.
we
Be
can't
all right,
let that
this
happen
isn't an
again.
option anymore.
Exactly.
Like, we have to do this.
Yeah. So that was a convoluted but interesting
Now,
story.
you were telling me earlier that you use Tractor when you're working on some of the mashup.
yeah, so
stuff.
we had the Tractor software for that, just because, you know, like I said earlier, it's a lot of trial and error where you know that an instrumental and an acapella will be in the same key.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically they should work, but sometimes it's just like it doesn't mesh well, or it's like a weird vibe. You know, you have like a punk rock vocal over this super pretty chords. Sometimes that sounds cool, but sometimes it doesn't work.
With your issue with Adventure Club, if you had your laptop and a USB, you could have just run straight into the mixer.
Oh,
from Tractor.
Yeah, we did not even
No,
think
no.
that was just like
No.
we had never even touched a DJM mixer.
Oh wow.
And we had like we're drunk on Google. I don't think we would have
Drunk on
figured out.
Google trying to figure out. How
I don't
to
think
use
we could have
CDJs.
figured out how to plug in Tractor.
Oh, man.
Now we travel with wires just in case we need to plug in Tractor. But yeah, so Tractor's nice just because you can load in songs super quick
You got the remix
without having, you know, you could and change the tempos and change the keys in the software really easily. And so just in case it doesn't work out, you didn't like that specific mashup doesn't sound good. You didn't waste your time like warping the tempo and the pitch, you know. So then we don't actually. Tractor is literally just for trial and error. We don't
proof of concept.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you only hear a 5-second snippet that works, you're like, okay, at least now I'll write it down, and if I do spend the time to kind of like, you know, clean it up and make it work, like this will sound good.
Yeah, no, Tractor's great for that. Now, the very last thing, what is your advice for kids and, you know, maybe even people like myself that are coming up in the industry? What would your advice to them be?
I mean, I kind of alluded to this a little earlier, but I really do think the number one thing is like you gotta make it fun for yourself. It's the type of thing where it's going to require so much time and effort, and more than that, it's like patience. Like no matter how talented you are or how much of a music background you have, there's no chance that your first 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 10 songs are going to be you're going to be proud of your progress, and that's great. That's important too, to see that you're making progress, but it takes a while for you to have something that other people are going to, you know, really react to. So I mean, I think you gotta understand that it might be over a year from easily, or maybe even 2 or 3 between Matt's putting up 5 fingers. I mean, so you just got to be aware that like, yeah, it might kind of suck because you might be locked in your bedroom working so hard and improving, which is great, but like you're not ready. So you need to kind of have the mindset of like, I'm going to make a song and finish it and do my best, but only for me, not for you. And I'm going to wait until I master everything, then it's for you. But as long as you could keep it fun for yourself, and, you know, like Matt said about those little victories, and, you know, makes you want to keep going with it. That's really everything.
Yeah, like if when we were starting producing, if we had the mindset of like where we are right now, like we'd get absolutely nowhere, because like I'd be like, this does not sound good enough for the public, but I can't get it good enough for the public. I just can't do it. Like we don't know how to do it. So you need to have really realistic expectations. So your expectation can't be to be like get 1 million plays on SoundCloud, like a song just like pop. You know, it has to be, get a song, finish a song. It doesn't matter if it's crap, you know, whatever. Like at least you are learning song structure. You're learning how to produce. Like you're learning how these things work. And like that's how the biggest thing I have seen for people, like so many people like start a DAW and just like never open it again. The difference of people that like do it for like 2 months versus people who do it for 2 years and beyond. I've just seen as like you need to have realistic expectations and find ways to have fun, even if the song isn't like, you know, the guys you look up to. It's not the quality of them yet. So, you know, it's like little victories. Like, you know, wow, this song is a little better than the last one. And then, you know, if you could say that every time, eventually, like these little baby steps will like be a mountain. That was the most inspiring thing I've ever seen.
And I think
Let's go like
we're gonna go hike
fight
it.
in a battle
Yeah.
right now. Like, yeah.
I think this also, Matt was talking about this earlier in this interview, but about how, you know, if you've never opened up one of these programs, you kind of think it's just click a button and it makes a song. So I think that kind of makes it like, it really is no different than most things. Let's say you're playing a sport, you want to learn how to play basketball, you've never played. Like, obviously you're not going to expect that you shoot around for a couple hours and now you could play on your high school team or whatever. Like, it's just because using some of these programs is so like if you've never seen it, you just really don't know what to expect. You kind of think it might be, you know, it might be a little easier, like, oh yeah, like I'm good with computers, blah blah blah. But like, just like any sport, any learning an instrument, learning a language, like it takes time, it takes patience, it takes effort, and yeah, you know, you just little victories one at a time, and then they start to add up, and you figure out.
I mean, what 99.9% of people see is just the final product, which is, you know, a song, but they don't see like the absolutely unglamorous thing of like looping like a 2-second section of being like, what do I do here? Like redoing it 100 times, you know, and just being like, I don't know if the song is good or bad anymore.
And well, that you remind me of something funny, like the unglamorous parts. Like, it's pretty funny when we have visitors to our studio. Let's say it's like a cousin is in town and they're visiting and they want to chill, and like they're expecting they're going to come down, and I don't really know what they're expecting. Maybe that it's going to be a dark room with flashing lights and we're going to be like practicing. I don't know. But they get there and they're sitting on the couch while we're working, and it's like, maybe we're working on like such a specific kick drum for the whole day. And like, so at their end, all they hear is just thump. Then like 10 minutes later, maybe we play it out again, thump. And like, and it's like,
it's a different thump.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, it just, yeah, there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that if you haven't started yet, you might not be aware of, but you got to be prepared for that. Like, it's not all like fun and games, you know. It's a lot of super technical stuff that can get pretty repetitive. But yeah, you know, you got to just stay focused on like the bigger picture, bigger vision, and realize that, like, you know, like Matt said, finish, even if you're not going to release it, finish the song so that you've went through every step of the process, you know. Then do it again. Then now it's easier. Now you know what, you know some of the shortcuts and some of the tricks. And you do it again. Then you do it again, and you know, you just learn things every time.
And then another last like super technical tip, or not technical tip, but like more tangible. Biggest thing that like helped our workflow, like almost go double the speed, is creating your own sample library once you started creating samples or finding samples you like. Because I realized we ended up spending, and I did this like maybe, I don't know, over a year ago for sure. And I realized I was just like, half my time was looking for like effect samples that I've used 100 times.
But you forgot where you had
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So now we just have this folder that fit with a million subfolders that, you know, I literally know with the back of my hand, I can go exactly, I know what I want way before like I need it, and it takes me 2 seconds to get to, rather than searching through thousands and thousands.
It's
of
the
samples.
same mentality as like if you're working on a car, you spend 90% of your time working on the car looking for that tool that was just in your hand.
Exactly.
And if you can, you know, already have it attached to you or be able to go to it immediately, it's going to expedite the process, you know, so much.
Yeah, and it's all about workflow and this kind of stuff. You need to feel creative. You don't want to be doing something super technical for too long, because then it's not like fun anymore. You know, it's just like,
yeah.
And then maybe that's for different people, but you know, at least for us, I love doing the creative side, or like constantly like making progress and feeling like getting that adrenaline rush of this is sick, and I am making progress on it, which is even sicker, versus being like, dude, I don't know if this is good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll just try switching out samples, and, that's not fun.
Yeah, dude, man, you guys, dude, this is phenomenal. I love hearing.
We love talking
stuff.
it.
Yeah, dude, we could do this all day, but we only have but so much time that we can actually, have on air, sadly. But is there any way you guys would mind doing a station identification for us?
Yo, this is two friends, Matt and Eli, and you're listening to the Monday Mashup on WVCW.
Hello there, the angel from my nightmare, the shadow in the background of the morgue, the unsuspecting victim of darkness in the valley. We can live like Jack and Sally if we want, where you can always find me. And we'll have Halloween on Christmas, and in the night we'll wish this never ends. We'll wish this never ends.
Don't waste your time on me, you're already the voice inside my head.
I miss you.
Don't waste your time on me, you're already the voice inside my head.
I miss you.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep, I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody and always. This sick, strange darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time. And as I stared, I counted webs from all the spiders, catching things and eating their insides, like indecision to call you and hear your voice of treason. Will you come home and stop his pain tonight?